welcome. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Facebook, on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. It is Thursday, May 20th. 2021. You can tell it's hot because we've got the windows wide open, because you can hear the vehicles going by. But let's see. I am not alone.
You need to change that.
At the news desk. Oh,
you need to change that theme song.
You love it.
No, I want something from Bob Dylan.
You do?
Yeah, Lay Lady Lay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about the Ministry cover of that? You like Ministry?
Never even heard of them.
Oh, my goodness. Al Jorgensen?
Is it after 1991?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually went through a list of hits by year, and I realized after I get out of the Army in 89, I'm just not listening to pop music anymore.
That's right.
Popular music.
But John Hopwood is here, and that's not all, my friends.
Girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a ain't one. I got the rap.
There he is, Christian LaCoss, DJ Reckless in the,
Yo,
in the corner,
I'm back.
hanging out with the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead.
I know, it seems to be my only friend right now.
It seems to be decaying.
Your only friend. Is it
Besides
decaying?
you.
We might have to put some lacquer on it. Or how does that work? How do you preserve a giant head? Well,
That's a great question.
Well, they were able to do it for Ted Williams, right? They put him in a
split.
thing. Oh no! The Ted Williams head is damaged.
It's no longer exists.
Oh no!
Except his ashes.
How are they going to reanimate him and bring him back to life? Then this is terrible.
Via AI.
This is the worst news ever.
Do they use the term AI anymore? Artificial intelligence?
I don't know. Let's ask Christian. He's a young person. Do they still use that term?
No.
No.
They use bots. So.
Well, and
a bot is not AI.
Ted Williams is SOL. This is terrible. Well, we have a very special show planned. Dana Beal is going to be joining us in just a few minutes now via Skype. Now, he called in yesterday to kind of give us a preview of the discussion.
Or did he Skype?
Yesterday, he called in. Ooh. He Skyped in on your show.
Yeah.
We should mention that. We don't have it up yet on the IPM Nation YouTube channel, but you did share it out on your YouTube channel for people who want to see it. You're fantastic. I watched it last night, you and Gonzo. Talking with Dana Beal, a very informative discussion.
Yeah, don't forget you can ask about Rock Against Racism.
Oh,
he organized the first one.
Yeah, I saw Gonzo's Crash and Burn asking that question. Yes,
we want to talk about Crash and Burns.
Oh my goodness,
we want to talk about Crash and Burns.
Yeah.
This weekend, I watched two people crash and burn.
Yes. Well, did you want to just quickly, because we have a guest who's coming up? Did you want to say anything about? Well, you did have something.
I did, but it's not worth my time.
No, taking the high road.
No,
I like it.
No.
Well, it seems like you are.
I just don't give a.
I was trying to give you credit.
No F-bombing.
Don't give me credit where credit's not due.
Well,
I just don't care about two people who came out and now you got me. Okay.
They came out? Wow, I had no idea.
Who came out, made a 30-minute podcast about how they're not going to talk about me, and then talked about me.
They did.
Have you heard about bronies?
Bronies?
Bronies.
I think that's something from like My Little Pony or whatever.
Yeah, they're these grown men that get. I don't know if they get off, but they're obsessed with My Little Pony.
Right.
And my friend Jocelyn, she was in a writing group in Vermont, and actually this old Josser was. Which is an English term.
That exists.
He's a brony.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
actually insane.
Yeah.
That's another story,
dude.
though.
Well, let's we have
My Little Pony.
We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
You're very faint. I can't hear you.
Who is this?
It's the same
This is
person
Dana
that called.
Beal.
Oh, Dana. Hi. I thought we were going to Skype you in at 4:15.
Yeah, but your Skype thing didn't come up on my Skype.
Well, I have
Usually, it appears as a thing saying so-and-so wants to be your friend, in effect.
Yeah,
and it didn't show up when you did it.
I don't know. It's.
So I got no way of responding to
it's
something.
WMNH.
Oh, it shows up on our end. It has you listed as one of our contacts.
Well, I also tried to call the radio station Skype. Is that it?
WMNH, yes.
WMNH Radio is our Skype.
WMNH Radio.
With a space in
Well,
between.
nothing happened when I called it. I let it ring a few times.
Well, we got you on now,
answered.
so.
Try it again. Try it right now.
See, this is really terrible because I cannot hear you. This happened yesterday. I could not hear what you were saying. It was like you were.
Can you call him?
From a closet.
Is he high right now?
And that's the way it is
He
now.
could be.
Well, do you want me to?
Is Evan there?
What did you just say?
Is Evan
want
with
me
you?
to what?
No, Evan.
Do you want me to try? I'll try Skyping you right now, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
All right. Hang up, and I'll Skype you.
you go. Is he high right now?
He's always high.
Me too, though.
He's like the founding father of marijuana liberation. He's been put in jail and everything. He goes back to the 60s with it. They tried to levitate the Pentagon back in 1967.
So we're connecting with him on Skype. Dana, is that you?
Hello.
Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, you for a minute there you were really distorting, but now you're normal.
Okay.
Dana, we have a young guy here, Christian LaCoss. He's a DJ.
Pause.
He wants to know if you're high.
Excuse me. No, we'll get to that after. All right.
Just an aside.
John, my last name is
I'm
LaCoss.
pretty normal, actually. I'm the way I normally
I always think of it as look.
Well, okay, so we're a little bit early with
I have
you, Dana,
dyslexia.
but that's cool. So Dana Beal joins us. He is I referred to you online, sir, as a legendary cannabis activist, and looking forward to talking with you a lot about that. John Hopwood, of course, shared with me the fantastic write-up you got in the New York Times. Congratulations on that.
Yep.
I definitely should have read that before he came on the show.
There was controversy. There's professional jealousy in academia, and it's actually in the pot world. There's a lot of professional jealousy, and people like who could promote each other, and the thing would get much further along, end up not liking something about somebody's style or something, and they just try to trip them up at every step.
There's a lot of feuds.
Ooh.
Yeah, but when did it end up happening?
Like radio.
I brought the Ibogaine on kind of into the consciousness of the drug legalization movement, which was about pot, largely, in 1990, roughly. And they were promoting hemp, food, fuel, and fiber. Jack Herrera had a book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And people basically said that, this has nothing to do with pot. Now, the very situation that, I foretold is once again coming to pass. You have a senator named Jean Shaheen.
Yes.
Who will not sign on to the MORE Act, claiming that, somehow if we arrest people for pot, they'll persuade their friends who are opiate users to quit. That's really what she's saying that, in some way marijuana leads. Now, actually,
it's a gateway drug. She thinks it's a gateway drug, which is not true.
Right. We have statistics that show that states that
legalized
medical marijuana and made it readily available, cut their opiate use 20%.
Like Colorado.
Absolutely.
And that's what we were saying. William Burroughs said this in Naked Lunch.
Back in 1959.
It's old, right? But even though it's, a dusty,
a
relic
hoary
of
old myth.
True.
Hoary.
And unfortunately, the obvious truth doesn't convince Jean Shaheen. So how do we get her to vote?
We dose her with Ibogaine.
I said, well, you could challenge them and say, if you're really sincere about, cutting the opiate crisis in half, I mean, wouldn't you rather have half an opiate crisis than a full-blown opiate crisis?
We should, Dana. We should take a moment.
Suddenly dwindled to half. Wouldn't that be better?
Dana, we should take a moment and just clarify for people, because you referred to the MORE Act. So what the MORE Act is supposed to do is, and just a little quick information here, the MORE Act, which was sponsored in the Senate by, at that time, vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris, would remove cannabis from scheduling, and because it's currently on Schedule 1, it should be descheduled, and it would expunge and seal previous nonviolent federal cannabis-related arrests and convictions for those who are not currently serving their sentences. So that's a little bit of what the MORE Act would do that Gene Shaheen will not support, as you pointed out.
Yeah, and it's just, see, the problem is Donald Trump says he will sign that bill.
But he's not president.
Joe Biden does not.
Yeah.
I followed Hillary Clinton around in 2016 with a 56-foot joint, all over the East Coast, all the way out to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get her to at least talk to us so she would do a press conference with that little girl with the seizures and a couple of vets with chronic pain.
Yes. I know the little girl you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Right. So she would not meet with us. And she lost.
Yeah.
And the idea that marijuana should remain Schedule 2, that's the schedule for meth.
But you also believe that a lot of marijuana people vote for Gary Johnson.
Is
you do.
Therapeutically active
not that year.
Substance known to man. It has no LD50. You can't die from it. It is really great anti-inflammatory.
Oh, there's a lot of medicinal uses for it. Absolutely.
The thing that was absolutely unique, because they would say, well, take a Prozac or take a Vicodin. No, it does this third thing. It actually stops the inflammation in your bowel. If you have Crohn's or if you have HIV, that inflammation is what kills people. And if you can stop it by eating a brownie, it's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
So there are situations where nothing else works as good as pot for medicine. But that's not the real argument. The real argument is that people deserve to have a healthful alternative to alcohol and cigarettes, which are taxed drugs.
And prescription drugs.
No, they're not just prescription.
Well,
they're selling these and they're saying, actually, this stuff is so bad. This stuff will kill you. And because of that, we're putting a tax stamp on it. And we're going to collect a sin
Since
tax.
1935.
Yeah.
Try to keep you from using it. So we come along with this stuff that doesn't kill anybody. It probably prolongs life about 4 years, right? It has all kinds of good effects when you get to be old, like being able to sleep at night. And it's harm reduction. For every single thing it replaces, it is a more benign alternative.
Yeah.
You see, that's not the point. The point is, I'm offended by
it's not a destructive drug.
Saying that this has something to do with this opiate crisis, which is real, and we have something that we've given our lives. I've spent 40 years making this known to people of the world. You see, the reason that I was really recognized finally as a marijuana leader was the Worldwide Marijuana March. And that was because Rudolph Giuliani banned our annual pot parade in New York City that had been going on for 26 years.
My friend Mark Stern used to be at March in it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the point is,
I smoked pot with Mark at BU.
It was not suppressed. And in fact, we went out to all these other marijuana organizations around the world and said, let's make this an international day of protest of the marijuana laws. And we ended up being, I think, at the top limit, about 312 cities coming out on the same day.
Oh, wow.
We had 100,000 people in London. We had 40,000 people. We still have people in Buenos Aires, right? It still exists. It's just that I went to prison for pot. And so there was nobody to coordinate it. But through this, because I wasn't that happy with the mainstream legalizers always trying to basically push heroin legalization as a priority over things like Ibogaine.
Yeah.
Ibogaine treats heroin addiction.
I used the Worldwide March as a platform to deliver this additional chip of information to marijuana activists everywhere, that there is this stuff. And, there's a lot of medical addicts, people who were put on Vicodin by their doctor and now they can't stop.
Look at Rush Limbaugh.
Addiction is a worldwide problem. And
should have smoked pot.
Most people don't know that there's twice as much meth addiction in the world as there is opiate addiction.
Well, Dana, let me interject on that.
It works better for meth than it does for opiates.
I want to just interject for a moment on one thing, Dana, that you had mentioned the opioid crisis or opiate crisis, something that's been a topic of conversation on this show a lot, and we've brought some people on who've discussed this with us, is kind of refuting the idea that there's an opioid crisis, because that's kind of a buzz phrase that politicians like to use. But there's really a fentanyl crisis, because this idea that this idea that people are abusing opiates is kind of a
people
farce.
aren't abusing prescription opiates.
Right, exactly.
That's
the
bogus.
The numbers are very small.
But the thing about the fentanyl is it's very tricky to detox from, because fentanyl messes with the heart. It's like one of those drugs like methadone or hydrochloroquine.
Yeah.
That mess with the heart. And so you got to detox them, give them a regular short-acting opiate for a few weeks before you can even treat them with Ibogaine, which also is a challenge to the heart. So you got to really, really monitor it and do it in a medically supported clinic. And that's our main thing right now. In New York, we just found out our bill is going to go to the Assembly. We've got to get some people in the Senate.
You're talking about the New York State Assembly.
Therapeutic Psychedelic Research Center that will actually administer different psychedelic drugs to people for, stuff that indicates that they would probably do well. Like somebody with suicidal depression probably needs some magic mushrooms.
Let's remember.
Somebody with heroin addiction definitely needs some Ibogaine. And
Timothy
we want to
Leary.
be this stuff.
Timothy Leary was at Harvard with the man who became Ram Dass, and they were using LSD to treat alcoholism. Alcoholics.
Really? Oh, that's
all that research
that's
was.
The reason that it got shut down by the reactionaries, by the Trumpoid wing of the prison industrial complex. They were afraid this stuff is going to put us out of business.
Right. That's another thing we talk about a lot on the show is and in a broader context, the war on drugs. If we stopped locking up people, nonviolent drug offenders, quote unquote, the prison industrial complex would go out of business.
The states are they use drugs, the states, to get federal money. Mm-hmm. And, when it comes up here to New Hampshire, every little community gets its chunk. And then Manchester, where we are, which has the brunt of the problem, gets so little.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's a scam. We're using the war on drugs to have Uncle Sugar rain some more money on so we can buy police equipment and, what do you call Bearcats and stuff like that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Now.
Wait, Christian
You're
has something.
saying state-owned prisons, correct?
No, but he's talking about private prisons.
Okay, good. I was about to say, because the majority of
Arizona and places are
private prisons are a joke.
I'm talking about the people in the system. Because I was in
crime
prison.
makes money for a lot of people.
No, I'm talking about the people who work there.
Not just the criminals.
It made money for me. I worked at a halfway house. I get that.
That's right, yeah.
They
Employment.
have a belief system. They're very heavily into the 12-step. They do not believe that people should use substances at all. They're for total 100% abstinence from everything. It's a little bit, they're a little bit one-sided, shall we say. And when they encountered these people doing LSD, they said this will cure alcoholism, but the people running the
drying out clinics.
the AA people said LSD is a drug. You can't be giving drugs, and they stopped Bill
Rehab
W.
industry
from talking about LSD.
huge.
Right,
Yeah.
he was for, by the way. But right now we have a situation where we had a Ibogaine program at NIDA, and it was abandoned not because of any health concerns, but because they put the box in charge of the hen house. They put Rick Benkeiser, the maker of Suboxone, on the clinic, or on the panel that decided the fate of Ibogaine.
Suboxone that's what they use. Is that for heroin?
They
addiction?
use that. Yeah, they're using that here in New Hampshire
at the
too.
methadone clinics, right?
See, pharmaceutical industry wants to control.
I know him. He's a very nice guy. His name was Curtis Wright, and he was I have his picture. He's a smiling, hippie-looking guy. I know he had a Star Trek pin, right? So he was a good guy, and he was the one who told him it would be cool to let the genie of OxyContin out of the bottle. But then at the same time, he advised they not develop Ibogaine, which I thought was not good advice, and instead simply pursue Suboxone. Well, now all these people who were on oxys and they were on fentanyl are going to have, or they're having to go on Suboxone. And Suboxone is like the only
approved
drug because methadone has a heart problem.
Okay.
And the problem is there's a lot of people for whom Suboxone is not strong enough. So these people back in that situation of having to do something because they have opiate craving greater than, a certain coefficient. So that's about 40% of people who I guess I'll have to keep them on methadone unless they can be treated with Ibogaine. And we're actually working on a protocol with ICERs in Spain right now to detox people from methadone using Ibogaine.
Well, yeah, because the people who go on the methadone, they stay on it for indefinitely in some cases, right?
Well, yeah, but the thing about the buprenorphine-based stuff, which is what Suboxone is that buprenorphine turns into a blocker when you get to be more than 35 milligrams, which is very inconvenient. And it also, the same molecule is from a substance called thebaine, which is like morphine. It's one of the alkaloids in the poppy. And thebaine has a 200-fold greater affinity for the receptor. So you remember the thing where they shoot the guy up in the heart and he sits up?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? That stuff is a blocker that seizes onto the opiate receptors without being an analgesic itself. So it doesn't slow down the heart too much.
John, what were you just showing? Because I
wait a
minute, Dana.
Doesn't work because of the go on.
I looked up Suboxone and I found out that Reckitt Benkeiser, who makes it, had to pay $1.4 billion to settle a case for pushing this drug illegally.
Trump let them off with $600 million.
Oh, you mean because it was supposed to be a $1.4 billion?
They got $800 million, taken off the fine.
Right. Once again, the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want to talk about Ibogaine because it's got its own patented medicine that it's going to sell to New Hampshire and everyone else.
But the thing is, what's really terrible, and people don't understand this.
And
imagine
illegally
the only thing you could drink was Coca-Cola, and that was it. There were no other soft drinks. Root beer, ginger ale, get out of here. You only get Coca-Cola. And actually, you're kind of un-American, and you're kind of like making a ruckus in here, so we're going to have security escort you to the door.
I drink Moxie.
That's the attitude, And it's like this is the only thing you can get.
You're old,
it's so terrible because They're now
Sorry,
doing
John,
a
I don't
formula
drink cough
for
syrup.
meth, and it doesn't work. It only works at 1 in 8 people, but they want that to be the only treatment for meth. And Ibogaine is better for meth than it is for opiates.
So why, Dana? I've never heard of until John started sending me information about you and your activism. I'd never heard of Ibogaine before. I know nothing about it other than what you've shared with us. Is that because is the pharmaceutical industry actively trying to suppress it?
Can't be patented.
In other words, NIDA is a small little research entity, and then there's this huge federal bureaucracy called SAMHSA that actually delivers all the drug treatment. And they're in the middle of a massive rollout under Biden to complete getting Suboxone to every single corner of the United States.
This was talked about on some of your shows.
Listen to this. They put a provision in that bill that legalized psilocybin.
Right. Finally.
In Oregon.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the other companion bill. But anyway, what it did was it took the money that they built up from the taxes on pot and dedicated that money to spending it on Suboxone.
What?
In other words, they had Ibogaine. They could have put Ibogaine in the bill along with psilocybin. It didn't happen.
Pharmaceutical lobbyists, they pass out the cash.
It was a guy named Graham Boyd. And he's an actual guy who's a friend of Ethan Nadelman. And these guys are at the top of the hierarchy at the Drug Policy Alliance. And, they have a strategy and they have a plan. And if you've been following the thing with Carl Hart and the controversy with the book that he came out where he said that recreational use of opiates is all right and shouldn't be stigmatized, then you see that why nobody is talking about Ibogaine, because you have people attacking it as unsafe, because all the people working on the rollout of Suboxone, which is a whole damn country,
Carl Hart's AstraZeneca
discussion of it. They're not going to tell you there even is an alternative to this drug they're putting you on for the rest of your life, because maybe you wouldn't go along with the rollout. You understand? So it is against the status quo drug that, like I said, you the only thing you can order here is Coke, right? No Pepsi. Then.
Right.
We'll have a shot in the morning.
Oh, just like in Saturday Night Live at the Greek diner.
Yeah.
No Coke, Pepsi.
Oh, right. Yes. I like the RC Cola myself. We're talking with...
Excuse me, I mentioned Carl... I know about Carl Hart is AstraZeneca, but this is Carl Hart, a Columbia professor.
Oh, okay.
An African-American who has taken opiates, and he's been a heroin user.
So we're talking with Dana Beal, who's an activist.
That's a sexy message, too. That's what you have to understand. It's hard to, when they decided they're going to, cover that as the story about drugs this month, it's hard to get a discussion going about an alternative.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me just, Dana, let me just give the number in case anyone has a call for a question, rather. 603-250-6007. If you have any questions or comments or input for our guest, Dana Beal, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or shoot me an email, matt@mattconnerton.com. But we are talking with Dana Beal, who is, I see you referred to online as a yippie. What exactly is a yippie, Dana?
Well, yippies were basically just hippies who'd been beaten up by the cops.
Okay.
At anti-war demonstrations.
Gotcha.
Did were you with Abby Hoffman found it?
We stopped the war in Vietnam.
Yes. Well, there you go.
It would probably be going on like our wars.
Something as a follow-on, and within a year or two, we'd started these gigantic marijuana marches.
Yeah.
And that led to, the whole high time scene. And then after the founder of High Times committed suicide, there was a kind of a series of events where they tried to promote heroin chic. This is the same as, today with Carl Hart. And we said, no, wait a minute. We did these protests against the CIA dealing heroin. And heroin is not cool. It's not the same as pot.
Right.
You're not going to be able to just do this and necessarily not become addicted. And, it is not the same as Coke, is what we said. It's not even the same as Coke. It's like you have a much bigger problem with addiction liability with heroin than you do with cocaine. Mm-hmm. People can do a little bit of Coke from time to time and not really develop great craving for it. I, for instance, during the period of time in the 70s when Coke was everywhere, had a simple strategy. I wouldn't pay for it. So I got very little.
Right. Right.
Can I just ask Dan a quick question about the Yippies? In 1968, Dana, did you vote for Pegasus?
No, I was actually in Canada at the time. I got back in '69.
You didn't vote for Pegasus?
What is Pegasus?
You've never heard of Pegasus?
Is it like a Pegasus with a pig's head?
You could have maybe written Pegasus in.
It was a large pig that the Yippies
were
nominated for president.
Oh.
They were sensitive to the charge that they helped Richard Nixon get in, which was a nightmare.
I don't know. I might have voted for Pegasus this time.
And so they didn't want a third-party actual vote for a pig.
Because they're pigs.
Because they figured nobody would actually vote for the pig, but that they were making a statement about the system.
Well,
I've seen people vote for Mickey Mouse. I had a recount on my election. You'd be surprised that fictional characters are popular, as write-ins.
I think we need to revive Pegasus. I like the idea.
I wonder if he can't be still alive.
Oh. Surfaced again, I think, in about 2003. We were trying to get speaking gigs as Yippies. Then Stewie Albert died. Stewie Albert had hepatitis C ultimately. And
saved him from becoming a pork chop.
He was like, there weren't any of the original people left except Fass. Well, no, that's not true.
You're the last Yippie?
Krasner died relatively recently. And
Krasner that's right. Paul Krasner.
He came up with the guy that we showed that Ibogaine works for Parkinson's disease on.
Oh, wow.
Patient. Yeah, Ibogaine regenerates dopamine neurons so that, it works for Parkinson's like the same way it works for crystal meth. In fact, crystal meth craving is related to Parkinson's because eventually, if you're in that deficit, you get a Parkinsonian type effect called Parkinsonianism.
Yes.
From meth, from just doing meth. It also gave Dennis Perron a stroke, right, by the way. So it's really, really bad meth. We're trying to do something about it. And the main thing I could say is, that people in the audience, if you get a hold of Jean Shaheen, urge her to, sign on to Rick Doblin's letter to Eric Garland and
who's the U.S. Attorney General,
asking how a drug that has zero abuse potential, and according to Curtis Wright, remember I was talking about Curtis Wright, be in the same schedule with a Schedule I drug. Because Schedule I drugs, by definition, it's like crack and crack spots. You understand? There's a drug traffic. It's out of control. They're taking over the streets. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's Schedule I.
Yeah.
Ibogaine is, people don't even like to take it again. It's like gives you car sickness. It's the same as overdosing on cannabis.
Okay. So there's no risk.
I've never overdosed on cannabis.
So you can overdose on cannabis.
Yeah, you still can.
I just passed a dream.
Big hit from a dab. you'll be sorry. You won't be able to like get into a car for 2 hours without like puking.
This is like Tommy Chong.
No.
With
that I want to go down a road real quick.
Yes.
What doesn't make it a gateway drug if you can overdose on it?
Oh, come on.
No.
It's
Stop.
somebody
Stop. I want to know.
drug to heroin.
I don't care. I want to know.
Heroin.
I want to know.
The term you're using
What
is
doesn't
not
make
right.
it? Listen, I'm not against weed, but I want to know what doesn't make it a lethal drug if you can overdose on it.
Oh, lethal drug.
The only reason that it was in any way.
It does give you breasts.
Are you talking about Ibogaine or pot now?
Pot. You said you can overdose on pot.
Yeah, you can't, but only in like a dab. You got to like take a concentrate. Or edibles.
I can assure you I've never overdosed on a dab, but okay.
I think I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
When Mark made those cookies, he put too much. That was back 40 years ago.
Oh, okay.
God, we had to chew stuff down.
So just for clarification purposes,
something on Cheech and Chong.
So when we're talking about overdosing in this context, we're not talking about overdose where you die. We're talking about an overdose where you just you get in over your head, and
you just wish that the physical symptoms would go away.
Yes.
I can assure you, I have never overdosed off a dab, but that's okay.
But that does happen with edibles, absolutely.
Particularly if they're not baked right.
Yeah.
Using cookie dough back in 1979. and terrible Colombian.
Right. Now, Dana, as a cannabis activist, how do you feel about where we are in terms of, obviously a lot of states have legalized? Here in New Hampshire, we can't quite get past decriminalization. But does where we are now feel like progress to you, or are you frustrated?
I'm not going to jail for pot.
Right.
But could he hear? No, it's decrim.
Progress.
Yeah. But obviously, we have a long way to go. I mean, are you
on a list of people they didn't like?
Are you?
Saying that, that's an understatement.
Are you optimistic that because I have been saying?
Well, I'm really, in a way, really worried about one thing.
Okay.
I'm worried that Trump is actually running for re-election and that he has a chance of winning because he has 40 million lemmings. 40
million, 70 million.
I think he's got about 75 million, but
only 70%.
Oh, we just got a message. They were hash brownies back in 1979.
Other 30% of Republicans are not, and they may have voted for him because he was the only Republican on the ticket.
Yeah, but
they're not necessarily supporting him now. Now, I would like to see John Boehner run.
Oh,
he's a reasonable guy. He comes off.
I've interviewed him. He's a really reasonable person.
Yeah.
I'd rather see John Huntsman.
Well,
but he's disappeared.
A lot of these people seem more reasonable than they did at one time, certainly. But
he's too conservative for me. But
yeah,
not.
But just remember, Trump is running as an avowed putschist. When they talk about the insurrection, that was not an insurrection. To call it an insurrection dignifies it. It was a putsch. It was like 1923. Some off-duty army guys, some unemployed policemen who decided to have a big march and try to seize City Hall, right?
With help from inside.
Mussolini did, basically, in 1923. And all this stuff happened. There was a big wave.
Schicklgruber.
The man was big then, too. It was a big wave of kind of fascist groups and organizations that appeared in a bunch of countries around the same time, and different things happened. But in Germany, unlike Italy, some cop shot the person next to Hitler. It was like what happened to Ashley Babbitt.
That's right. The police fired on them.
Right, and it broke the spell, right? So that same thing happened, and the Nazis built a whole mythology around the person who got shot and the flag that had the blood on it, and it was all part
That's
of
actually policing policy in a mob.
They used to take over in 1933. But we know that if Trump gets back in, it's like Hitler getting in 1933. It cannot be allowed to happen. Now, marijuana has a role to play in this. But I think that it should be pointed out that I did go to Roger Stone because
I know him too.
Randy Critico.
Yeah.
And I asked him to do something about Ibogaine, and he refused to talk to me. Now, when we took it to Chris Christie's Opiate Commission, they refused to take testimony from our experts, Drs. Alper and Camlet.
Yeah.
They refused to even entertain Ibogaine, and they came out for Suboxone, the same.
Yeah.
Which is being backed by a big pharma company that's getting fined.
Which is the same as Biden. See, it's also the same as the Drug Policy Foundation.
Yeah, they spread the money around.
The same as everybody, except this kind of renegade group that says, no, we want to try the Ibogaine. You know,
Right.
Prior to this, it being only Pepsi, right? So, what you can do is, if you are in the sound of my voice, get back to me. I'm at IDB1947 at Gmail. Those are my initials, Irvin Dana Beal.
Okay.
My first name is Irvin. Nobody knows.
Oh, we got a scoop.
The point is, 1947. I was born in 1947, and it's Gmail, so it's very simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can email me if you're interested in Ibogaine. If you want to do something about Gene Shaheen, I think
want
we
to
should
come up
start
here.
a little movement to do some demonstration or something outside Gene Shaheen's office in.
Levitate her office. It's right. It's right down from where we are.
Let's talk about that.
Levitate her office.
How does one levitate?
How does one levitate the
I got a
Pentagon?
guy who does street theater from Boston who will come up.
Oh, all
We
right.
need
Well,
Guido Sarducci.
Actually, we have our own public protest expert right here in New Hampshire. His name is Dave Ridley, and he could probably help us with this.
He's supposedly.
Oh, yeah,
libertarian.
definitely. He could get one person to stand right in front of there.
That's right.
He could
And
play
a,
Abby Hoffman.
But let me ask you. I want to ask
And
you.
a towel. Call it good.
I want to ask you this, Dana, because you talked
Put a
about
pot leaf towel and call it good on him.
You talked about Trump earlier, and you did mention Joe Biden, and I wonder. And by the way,
You didn't vote. Did you vote for Joe Biden?
I did vote for Joe Biden.
Oh, okay.
But I'm a little bit. Well,
You didn't vote for Hillary.
No, I voted for Gary Johnson
That's
in
right.
2016. But I'm very discouraged by. And by the way, I give Biden an A+ on pandemic response, but I give him an F so far on cannabis. I'm very discouraged that with the Biden administration, a lot of this progress that we've made is kind of coming to a halt.
And I bet he
on cannabis.
inhales.
No. He's not even a year in
On
yet. though.
Ibogaine,
No.
his
Seems
son
like it.
took Ibogaine. Hunter took Ibogaine.
Oh,
If it was so good for him, why can't the rest of people get it?
right.
That's a
Right.
strong.
Because it's
quote.
not.
I want to know
Doesn't get
where he
big
got that
fun.
Why
from.
is it Schedule 1 if it has no abuse potential? It has to have high abuse potential.
But it's
to
a
have been inducted
psychedelic.
into the Hall of Fame to begin with.
People are afraid of psychedelics.
Yeah,
I mean,
I am.
they're starting to use MDMA treats PTSD. I have PTSD. I know people that are being treated now. People have used ayahuasca and other stuff.
There's a Time article that came out about a Navy SEAL who's now giving Ibogaine to other Navy SEAls in Tijuana.
Oh yeah, because it's horrible. They're you know what they have to do and what they've been through, and the memories.
Ibogaine helps you to reevaluate memories.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And process memories, right?
Oh, okay.
Process and deal with them.
Huh.
It
Are you
enables
smoking
you
a
to.
joint right now on the radio?
I hope not.
Oh yeah, he was on my show. Why? It's legal.
Yeah.
It's legal in New York.
Right.
It's legal to sell too.
It's
And grow and sell.
It's fully legal in New York.
Oh
right?
yeah, they just signed the bill.
and you can
Well,
actually
it's
smoke
not-
in public.
it's not- they haven't promulgated the regulations. We're trying to introduce an
Oh, geez,
ordinance
we get Elizabeth Ropp on
to
here and
turn
talk about
a vacant city-owned property
played
over to
acupuncture.
cooperatives that would grow the weed and keep it out of the hands of big pharma.
So
Big Pharma is
yeah.
it's got its sites up in Canada, And in the States.
So Jenny is asking in the chat room, Dana, do you have any hope for a federal change on cannabis? Do you have any hope that...
Well, I think that if, like, Charles Schumer actually sends this bill...
He went to the pot march you were at.
Bernie Sanders, like, said he was going to sign an executive order
Who said
on
the cat?
January 21st, if he became president, to order that the Attorney General remove marijuana from Schedule 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he can do it with marijuana, which millions of people are partying with and, thumbing their nose at the government at the same time, they can do it for this legitimate treatment for heroin and methamphetamine addiction, which actually doesn't have a lot of abuse potential, except that microdoses is good for Parkinson's patients.
Yeah.
And we got to keep those Parkinson's patients
Well,
sick.
we haven't legalized it here in New Hampshire with our 400-person citizen legislature that's supposed to be so close to the people.
Well, but they did pass it, but then the governor, our governor here...
How many times?
Sununu, at least once vetoed it.
Did Shaheen ever have to deal with it? No, they never got close.
I'm not sure.
Governor.
Under Hassan, they did, I think, right? And then she vetoed it.
She vetoed it too.
I believe so.
You ought to go after Maggie. Well, I think Maggie Hassan's not supporting this bill.
She's very pro drug war, or she has been in the past.
Today I got notification that the bill that ACT UP, the AIDS Coalition, is sponsoring with Linda Rosenthal, the chief of the Substance Abuse Committee of the New York State Legislature, is been approved for assignment of a bill number.
Oh, good.
And at that point, it'll be listed, and we can push it all over the state of New York, and it would create an Ibogaine clinic right here in New York City. That would be a variation with the federal status at that point. And we're going to have the governor is going to have to be enlisted to negotiate on behalf of the state of New York, because we want our Ibogaine. Ibogaine was invented here by Howard Lotsoff. Norma Lotsoff is still alive on Staten Island. She is an African-American lady.
Well, it wasn't invented in New York. It's from Africa.
African rainforest cure for drug addiction. She's still alive.
Yeah.
And Big Pharma is ripped her off and, is basically going to make billions of dollars, and she's going to get nothing unless we intervene. And we're going to intervene on that one because it's not right.
By the way, Melanie in the chat room was asking, did you say that methamphetamine doesn't have a lot of abuse potential?
No, methamphetamine is a terrible drug.
Okay.
Ibogaine doesn't have a lot of it.
It's Ibogaine you were referring to. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So is Ibogaine kind of your main focus now, or are you still actively
I'm very excited about the fact that this guy can get his hands on ALD-52.
And
because we could use ALD-52 to deprogram Trumpers.
I don't think there is any. Good luck.
No, we actually believe I have a syllabus, and with ALD-52, we can bring people back from the rabbit hole with Q.
Yeah, you think so? Has it been used to deprogram members of other cults?
It can deprogram any cult.
Wow,
it's really amazing psychedelic drug.
Yeah. Well, okay, all right. Well, we'll maybe someday we'll get to test that out. I don't know, but are you frustrated? Are you discouraged with the Biden administration because they don't seem
you can get stuff out of them if you push and you're disciplined.
Yeah.
If you get elected representatives and senators on board.
Yeah.
I think we have a shot at getting Biden to actually deschedule Ibogaine, which would be huge, because you got to understand, in places like Afghanistan, the main thing that works against Ibogaine is a Schedule I drug in the United States. I mean, you can't exactly send a DEA agent into Afghanistan to bust a bunch of people.
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
We are about to start an Ibogaine clinic in Kabul.
So we're going to be able to like help people there. This is coming from South Africa, so it's not really seen as being a U.S. initiative.
Okay.
And we're going to be able to help people in the worst heroin spot in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you ever see the video? There's like 1,500 people living under this bridge, smoking and injecting heroin.
Where?
Downtown. It's like a human cesspool.
In Afghanistan?
In Afghanistan?
Yes, and right in the middle of Kabul.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah. And they cleared it out and put them in a army base somewhere, and the next morning there were 1,500 more people.
Wow. Jeez.
Oh, that's right. All heroin came out of Iran and Afghanistan back in the 60s and 70s.
Well, in Afghanistan, I mean, that's kind of what their economy is based on, isn't it?
What's opium?
Right.
Yeah.
We want to see if we can have a crop substitution and have them make that fine Afghani hash. They can make more money off Afghani hash. Opium is a drug on the market. Like a guy says, in these diamonds, everyone has diamonds. Diamonds are a drug on the market.
Well, Dana, we're actually coming up at to the top of the hour, so we'll begin to wrap up with you. But what do we need to know? I'd love for you to please give your email address again, and anything else we need to know as far as resources online. I don't know if you have a website you'd like us to know about, but just anything like that we should know before we wrap up with you today.
No, I do put stuff up on my, I think stories that are important on my Facebook in the morning.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
But, I'm doing some stuff. We got to, see if we can get Jean Shaheen to sign this letter.
Absolutely.
We get the senators to sign on to the letter, and I talked to Carol Maloney, who's a representative, and I've been in touch with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay. Well, the House already passed it.
Well,
it already passed about marijuana legalization.
No, I'm talking about the Ibogaine thing.
Okay, well, Jean Shaheen is about as opposed to legalizing marijuana.
We've got to overthrow this Suboxone monopoly, man. It's immoral. And basically, the people in Afghanistan cannot afford Suboxone. The country is dirt poor. Mm-hmm. So they get nothing because it's got a bad name, because it's Schedule 1 in the United States. Everybody's afraid of it, like, ooh, I'm going to get busted. No, man, this stuff should be available now. It belongs to begin with, it's the birthright of every African American. It is the African drug. From South America, you've got Yage, you've got like ayahuasca, right? Which is basically like short-acting Ibogaine.
Okay.
Not as focused.
Ayahuasca is short-acting? Come on. Yeah. How long does Ibogaine work for?
Ibogaine lasts like longer than 24 hours, man.
Okay.
You mean you're going to go on a vision quest longer than 24 hours?
Yeah, that's why
ayahuasca is heavy duty.
Ayahuasca lasts about 6 hours. And, you get some of the same stuff. You get nausea, you puke.
And like, how, huh?
It's classed. Cannabis, ayahuasca, and Ibogaine are kind of all in the same class.
Well, there's ayahuasca. There's the churches where it's used as a sacrament. And Massachusetts, there's an Ibogaine church.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to get a hold of the Ibogaine church in Massachusetts.
I'll find out the information by next week. I'm going to Mass tomorrow. I'll be in the area.
Because people need it. People, like you said, don't know.
I don't do psychedelics.
Right? They don't know that it exists. If people knew it existed and knew what it did, everything would change.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about Shaheen, we have to just refocus you. She's against marijuana.
Right.
Going beyond that, if you talk psychedelic to her, God, she might drop her dental plate. It might pop out of her mouth.
Ibogaine is about detoxification.
Yeah, but
41% of people who take it walk away from opiates for the rest of their life.
You know that, and it's reason. But where does reason, politics?
Well, the question is, do you want to keep
You want to coddle the opiate crisis? You want to keep it around like a homeless person who's crashed in your garage?
Yeah,
or
I think some of them do.
The opiate crisis? Because you can get rid of it. You just have to bite the bullet and say, yeah, there's some interesting fireworks when people take this stuff, but we'll just kind of ignore the fact that they're tripping because it gets them off the dope.
But see, I think that you were right when we were talking about marijuana, that you were going to use marijuana nationwide to prevent Donald Trump getting reelected. Of course, the Ibogaine is going to be used to reprogram the Q people.
He's going to use that. There's a lot of like right-wing pot people. You got to understand.
There are.
They really are. South Dakota.
Legal. And the people from the Republican Party who are in favor of pot are all libertarians. And everybody knows the libertarians are crazy.
Well, Gary Johnson was high during one of his speeches, wasn't he?
Was he? I did vote
we were watching something. He was it looked like he was high.
Oh wow! Well, maybe he was.
You've forgotten because that was that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I do.
There was an MSNBC appearance where I think he was high.
That was it. Yeah.
By the way, I did just get an email from Senator Shaheen's office. They were scheduled for an interview, but she has to reschedule. She's having some dental work done. But anyway.
No, she goes on the morning show.
Oh God. All right. Well, listen, Dana Beal, thank you so much for joining us today, sir. And again, congratulations on that big New York Times write-up. That's very exciting. And
now we have to do similar, even bigger write-ups.
Yes, absolutely. Well, now that you've been on this show, you get the big Matt Connarton Unleashed bump.
Well, like, to have people get in touch with me, man.
Yeah.
The number is 347-343-1791. Now, you may remember that in 1791, they cut off the head of the King of France.
Okay.
And I was actually from that faction that said the U.S. Constitution should be amended in the case of Donald Trump for one time. Bring back the guillotine.
Wow. Well, they did have one.
They get but this would somehow override the provision where you can't really have a bill of attainder.
Well, we're against capital punishment here.
We actually might need a bill of attainder from time to time.
I just want to say I don't want to get myself in trouble, so I just want to publicly say I personally am opposed to putting the former president in a guillotine. But on that note, all right, Dana Beal. Oh, please too.
What
give
about a gibbet?
Just hang him. Phone number 347-343-1791.
And what's your email again?
IDB 1947.
Wonderful. All right, my friend. Very nice to speak with you today, and thank you so much for joining us.
And you'll be on Norm in a couple of weeks.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Just get in touch.
All right, Dana.
Find me that
I will.
And email me back.
And when you're on Norm's a psychic. He can tell you the future of the legislation.
Oh, very exciting. Yeah. Yes. You'll be able to learn if you have any speeding tickets coming up. Okay, very good.
Take care, Dana.
All right, thanks, Dana.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Dana Beal. Wow, big guy. No, he's man, I was reading up on him. He's a legend. But I had never even heard of Ibogaine before. But apparently you can do a lot with it. Well,
my friend Mark Stern, who's called in before, he's called in my show, and he probably called in your show when you used to have the public access show, says Ibogaine is this big thing now, because Mark used to march with him, with the yippies, to legalize marijuana, which at the time I never thought marijuana would ever get to this point.
Right.
Because of the irrationality of politicians.
Yep.
They're irrational. And they use these issues. What if they didn't have the war on drugs? They'd have to make something else up, right? It's like
true.
Thomas Jefferson allegedly said, if there was no God, we'd have to make one up. Because it's such an effective tool.
I didn't know Jefferson had said that. That is a great. That's a great.
They use somebody probably against Jefferson because they always called him an atheist. His political opponents made it up. Like many great quotes turned out not to be real.
I know of something else that is attributed to him that
It's not real.
Is not necessarily real. Well, let's. It is the top of the hour. Let's take a break. I'm going to play something, and then we'll show some love to our sponsors. And then, are you sticking around?
Sure. I'll go find my grandson.
All right. Yeah, Christian had a phone appointment he had to get to, so hopefully he'll be back before the end of the show. But he had an important call about some business.
Hope he doesn't lock
to,
himself up.
Yeah, I'll message him. I'll make sure he has the code to get into the building. But anyway, so so we will take a break. More Matt Connarton Unleashed coming up. Don't go away.
What a fiasco.
Everybody, welcome back. We are in hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page on the Facebook. You can also go to my website, mattconnarton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, etc., etc. Hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online. It is Thursday, May 20th, 2021. John Hopwood is here with us as well at the news desk.
Yes, howdy.
Howdy. Christian LaCoss was here earlier, and I think he'll be coming back if he gets done in time. He had a very important phone appointment for a very important career opportunity, but, so we'll see how that goes. I'm sure I'll get an update later. He'll be getting his second shot of the vaccine later today as well.
What I am scheduled next Thursday for my first shot of Moderna.
I'm surprised you haven't had your first shot yet.
Well, I was bouncing around New Mexico and New Hampshire.
Yes.
And, when they all of a sudden, I was here in New Hampshire, they said, well, it's open to people 60 or older. Mm-hmm. But then I would try to, in a previous time, because I have conditions about asthma and
yes.
And, I try to contact the state. Oh, yeah. They just, the gatekeepers, nope. So, so I'm going through the Veterans Administration.
Yeah.
The VA. But I would only take Moderna or Pfizer. I will not take AstraZeneca or
Johnson
and I will
Johnson.
not take Johnson & Johnson.
Why not Johnson & Johnson?
Yeah, you're kidding. It's been banned and then banned again in New South Wales, Australia, which is like the California of Australia.
Oh.
There's all sorts of problems all over the world, and with Johnson & Johnson.
Well, I think you're better off with Moderna or Pfizer anyway in terms of efficacy.
I did my research.
Yep.
They're both, they say, those are the two best.
Yep.
Moderna's just come out with, it's going to be the first one out with a booster for 2 variations.
Oh, okay.
But they say if it's between Pfizer and Moderna, don't even think about
right.
One or their equivalent.
Yeah.
And the research, which has been ongoing too, they're the 2 most efficacious and have the fewest. You don't see the big problems like blood clotting, stuff like that. You just have the fatigue.
Yeah. Jenny and I each got Pfizer, and I had severe fatigue after each shot. The first one, the first dose I got on a Monday, and that Wednesday I got very, very tired. And then with the second dose, I got very, very tired that same day. I slept like 14 hours, but felt great afterward, and just very, very happy that. You know how cynical and skeptical I was early on about when, I was thinking, maybe July or August, I'll finally be able to get vaccinated. And there it was, April. And I was not even the end of April. I was already getting my second shot. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
I was with our friend, Dr. Jeff Cassell, who's 75. And he, I was thinking, well, I always got the flu shot every year because I had elderly parents and friends, mid-80s and people, and it's out of respect for them too, I might not get it, but I might pass it on to somebody.
Right, exactly.
So, but it was just, bouncing around. And then I could have probably, if I hadn't gotten altitude sickness, I would have got it in at the VA in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Which changed my address to my vacation address. So all my drugs, including my Xanax, are going to Albuquerque now.
Oh, no. Are you serious?
No, Santa Fe, excuse me. Yeah. Because I said, well, I'm thinking of moving here. Thinking about moving up to a place is not moving to the place.
Right.
But I just straightened that out, and I'll just go to the VA here in Manchester.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll refill the stuff. But,
Yeah. Well.
Hey. I'm grateful for the VA to send me the stuff.
Yeah, of course.
They're more efficient than people let on.
I do want to remind everyone that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street, right across the street. Today's Thursday, which means it's trivia night at the Hop Knot with the great Bill Cini, who also participates on the morning show. And,
are they going to do it outside?
I don't know.
When can we start losing again as a group?
That's a good question. That's a good
Coming
question.
In fourth.
Yes.
After briefly flirting with second place.
When can Jenny's Juggernauts return? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure if they're doing it outside yet or not. It certainly is warm enough to. But yes, Thursday night's trivia night. Friday, our friend Grant Lampton plays there. Every Friday night. He's doing a residency there. We had him on the show a couple of days ago. Let's see, they do Sunday brunch. Also want to mention, so Juneteenth is coming up next month, right. Just a little under a month from now. It says here, start spreading the word and getting a group together to participate in our downtown Black History scavenger hunt.
Oh, wow.
Or get your favorite dinner friends together and get some delicious food while you enjoy a steel drum performance. So that's going to be June 19th at the Hop Knot. But they've got stuff planned for all weekend. So
are they planning on going over to the West Side, where like in the early 70s they burned out the black families?
I don't
think integration wasn't high on.
Yeah. I don't know of any plans for that specifically, but I do know they have things planned for the entire weekend. They wanted to do, well, actually they did do some things last year, but of course they were kind of limited in what they could do because of the pandemic. But
we go to the library and find the William Loeb editorial from 1973 where he said there are 323 black people in Manchester. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that once before. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, I never saw, there wasn't much diversity in Manchester then.
Yeah.
I think,
in New Hampshire,
my high school, there was like 4 black people, and 2 of them were the daughters of Mr. White, who owned the Buick dealership. And he was a much higher class than 99% of the white people here.
Wow.
And I remember Joe Sullivan, greatest teacher I ever had until I got to university. He was so solicitous of the opinion because we had one of the girls in my class, and because this editorial is coming out. The teachers we had in Manchester 70s were very, when it came to race relations, I didn't see, the people that were the baby boom and everything were very pro-civil rights. Mm-hmm. And, and she felt, I remember her telling us, this is at the time, that she didn't feel that she was a victim of racism. But people were solicitous after that came out. Mm-hmm. But, because when I went to university in Boston, there was diversity here. It was the frogs against the Micks, against the Polacks, against the Greeks, and of course the Greeks were on the other side of the river, and they're exotic.
All these white Europeans opposing each other, essentially.
The closest friends of my father, and who grew up on the West Side, were Missy Maybe, who was a Toli, who was Albanian.
Yeah.
So my niece, actually, she was a nurse in Kosovo, and she wound up marrying an interpreter who was from Macedonia, and he could speak Albanian.
Yeah.
And they're speaking Albanian together.
Oh, wow.
But I remember Missy because the church, they went to the Greek Orthodox Church, and we'd go over there. We call it the Onion Church because it wasn't like one of the Catholic churches. And we came over here to go to the Baptist Church because my grandmother converted from Presbyterianism to Baptist in, My father used to complain about it all the time because the mill owners were all Baptists. John Rockefeller was a Baptist. We're not Northern Baptists, weren't Southern Baptists. And he said, I had to leave Manchester. They had all these this little German Presbyterian church. Even though Presbyterianism was really a Scottish church, there's many Germans that became Presbyterian. And the church is still there. He said, they were so friendly. And I have to go over to the other side of the town where they're looking down at me because I come from the west side. And he was still bitter about that.
Wow.
And now, let's not get into it. Because I remember Eric telling the story of going there to see the father of Cruz.
Yeah.
And the anti-gay speech he made.
Raphael Cruz, yeah.
And so it's not the
dad.
Baptist church, even up here, that it was 50 years ago.
Let's see. Christian LaCoss is returning to hang out with the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead in the corner.
I didn't walk off the show. Don't worry.
Right. Yeah. No, you didn't
and for
storm
clarification, I know this isn't going to mean anything because it already happened. I didn't walk off the show last week. I actually had to go do something.
Right.
It was at a weird time.
But it made for good radio that it seemed. John Hopwood has done that too. That's something you and John have in common.
Walked off the radio show or just got locked outside?
Walked off. You've walked off a couple times, I think.
When did I do that?
You really don't remember?
I think he did it one time when I was on, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I don't. There was one time the Honorable Gary S. Hopper and one of his cohorts.
Oh, you mean when I couldn't come on for 2 weeks?
Right, because you swore.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know the microphones were going to pick me up.
But there was another instance. Oh, Dr. Jeff Cassell caused you to walk out one day too.
I don't remember walking out.
Yeah, that happened both here and on television.
Where Dr. Jeff said that he did not want to pay taxes for schools with black people in because of their low IQs. You know, basically.
It was
racist.
I don't think that's exactly what he said.
That's the way I interpreted it.
But that's how
that's
you interpreted it.
That's the way I interpreted it.
Yes, and it was...
well, meditation and mindfulness have helped the PTSD a lot since then.
Yes, but it does make for great radio. So
whenever you'd say, you and Joe, it was great radio. It's like, it wasn't for me.
Right, no, but...
Because I'm having flashbacks here.
But for everyone else, it makes for great radio. So if either of you ever in the future want to storm out, feel free. But
a stage storm.
Well, no, but you don't give away that it's staged. But no, Christian. I mean, the way it looked like you were storming out, though, it made for great radio.
I mean, hey,
you know,
has Gonzo fought with anybody, Paulie C lately? Remember those? But that was over the phone, right?
Right.
Paulie would call it. It's like, then he would.
Well, that's
jeez. I was ready to storm out of there. It was so painful to listen.
There has been many a great
Gonzo incident.
Well, yes, but
he picked up the slack after I slacked off.
There has been many a great radio feud that has emanated both from this show and the morning show as well,
and from because these shows that are now on the radio go back on public access TV. And podcasting many years, even before.
Right.
Yeah, the feuds can come back.
We're going to talk about feuds, man. I said I wouldn't talk about it, but...
Talk about the feud.
You can if you want.
Up to you, dude.
Well, it's up to you. Do you have something you
I don't want to entertain it because they're losers, you know?
Entertain it.
But I am, man. I gave them views.
Who are they?
I don't even want to talk about it. We'll call them the two amigos.
Oh.
All
right, two peas in a pod, honestly. You know, like, I gave them views. Like,
how do you know them?
How do I know them? I did a podcast with one of them, which absolutely crashed and burned.
Oh, jeez. I know that feeling, huh?
The second one, how do I know that guy? How do I know that guy? Oh, he sent me a video through my email about when I was starting a podcast.
Yes.
Giving me advice.
Never answer them.
And then he puts his 2 cents in when I just don't care.
Right. All right. Well, that sums it up.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And they're both
tools,
mentally unwell, and I hope for the best.
In your opinion,
they have mental health issues. Yes.
Remember, this is a state with
No, this is not an opinion. This is a fact. They have both come out and said it.
Well, yes, that's what they discuss.
You have the screenshots
on their podcast.
I don't need the screenshots.
No.
Okay. I have audio recordings.
They discuss this publicly on a podcast.
What kind of mental illness?
A podcast where they only get 20 views a video.
Being bipolar and things like that. Yes.
But then they're not bronies.
They could be.
They're not bronies.
Men.
Don't disrespect the bronies like that, please.
Grown men into little My Little Pony.
Right, that's what a brony is. And that is a real thing, by the way, for anyone who thinks John is kidding about that. That is real.
I know.
If you look up brony.
It is. I actually had a kid in high school or middle school
way.
or something like that was.
I can't imagine. I know it exists.
We have a call? Hi,
is it
welcome.
a brony?
I don't know. We'll
It's Dave
find out.
Ridley.
Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton.
It's Dave Ridley or Easy G, one
No,
of the two.
it's tax.
Well,
it's Bitcoin Gandhi.
Or.
Let me answer it.
Well,
Let's
hello,
go, let's go.
guys.
Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's
Well, hello,
this?
guys.
So you want to put this to
Let's
you wanna
go.
put this to bed, tough guy?
Oh,
Let's
Well,
go. Let's go. You
guys.
want to do this? All right, let's go. I'm so happy you
this
called
is-
in.
Do this? You want to constantly throw out my mental illness, but Christian,
Oh, now I know who it is.
with the recording that I have right here, what's this about the WMNH family member that supposedly was in your inbox flirting with you?
Okay, put it
that
out
you
there,
sat
Tony,
there
because
and-
you know what?
that
Put
you-
it out there, Tony, because you know what I did? I went and apologized to that person because I shouldn't have brought them into this. This is between me,
Right.
you,
But you've been
and
bringing
Brian.
it up, Christian. You've been bringing it up. You keep bringing it up in the chat room. I had no problem with
When
you
did I bring it up in the
till
chat room?
Till I took a break from the WMNH stuff and
So
listened
good
to
when
the
it's somebody else
radio,
besides
and
me.
you
That's
decided
crazy.
that you want it. You know what, Christian? Drop a link to your fight. You're on Charles Richardson. You're on all these places.
Yep.
Drop a link to your fight to prove that you're fighting.
Okay, so let's also
Drop
go
a,
back
drop,
to the...
No.
Shut your mouth,
Drop
okay?
A link.
And let me talk,
Drop a
okay?
link.
Shut your mouth and let me
Drop
talk.
a link, Christian.
Okay? Because I said what I said in my video the other day, right? I said I put it out there to get a feel.
Who's in whose head, Christian?
I'm in
Who's
your head
head?
because clearly you called in. I'm just entertaining you because,
can't
dude,
stop
it gets me
talking
views
about
and
us.
controversy creates
You can't
clicks.
stop talking about us, Christian.
Jeez, I'm going to drop the
Because I
news.
love it. Because I love that I am in your head, okay?
You're not
and
in my
you
head.
are making
You know what's in
30-minute
my head?
videos.
My 3 children,
Uh-huh.
my job, my family, everything that I have worked so hard to get to that you're not getting to.
I'm not getting to the
you wanna
point
sit
where I'm
here, You
at.
want to sit here and throw punches. You're claiming Robert Dion is hitting on
Oh, okay.
you.
All right,
That's-
buddy.
Okay, no. We're not mentioning.
How did the
Dude,
Dion
We're not.
Quintet
We're
get
not.
in
We're
this?
not talking about other people.
Now I've heard
What?
there's a fourth one.
Yeah,
What
that's-
was that?
I'm sorry to hang up on you, Tony, but we're not. I'm not interested in.
There used to be somebody
were
that
doing
called
so
in
good.
to bait me. Then
Yeah.
he just didn't call
Man.
in anymore.
Yeah, we're not.
You can't engage, and then they stop calling in.
I
But
was,
he, Tony's
I was,
got his own thing.
I was happy to let you guys fight it out, but we're not bringing up other people connected
Dude,
to the station.
we were doing so good right up until then.
Yeah,
man.
that's no.
Respectfully, I give him credit. He called in. I was ready to go. I was hoping it was him. I had a hunch in the back of my head it was. Listen, all right. I keep entertaining it because you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
Controversy creates clicks. If I cared, I would stop
That sounds so
talking about it.
narcissistic.
Well, it is true though.
Okay, all right. And where
I
would I
mean-
be if I didn't care about myself nowadays? I don't care.
Narcissism is
Uh-huh.
not maturity. It's something to work out of.
Who said I was mature? Dude, I'm doing...
Narcissism is grotesque.
All right, you are entitled to your opinion.
No, it's narcissism. Narcissism, it's not my opinion. Look up narcissism. It is a pejorative. Being narcissistic is it's grotesque. We just suffered through 4 years of a narcissist.
Okay, but you're not getting what I'm saying. You're
No,
entitled
I
to your opinion.
am getting
All right, I'm-
that you would harass somebody with a mental illness to get clicks.
So now
that
we're
is so narcissistic.
So now
that's
we're
so
gonna twist
wrong.
my words. So now we're gonna twist.
You just said
now
that.
we're gonna twist my words.
Oh, you just said that.
Okay.
Controversy.
yeah,
Gets
I
you
said
clicks.
controversy creates clicks.
And who's twisting whose words?
You are
have
twisting my words.
You are illogical, dude. Because you're talking about controversy, harassing this person, gets you clicks, and it gets you off.
Why don't
You're getting your jollies and you're getting your rocks off this way. I mean, come on, it's not the way to go.
Well, I think what Christian is expressing is
That wasn't pleasant.
it's but it does controversy and people fighting with each other online. It does generate interest. That's not the same thing as saying it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, it's not a good
You're
thing
either
for
gonna
him.
love
It's
me or
not a
hate
good.
me.
It's not a
There's
good
no
thing
in
for
between
him.
that. I don't care.
You don't care. That sums it all up. And who would respect somebody that doesn't care?
I don't,
if you
I'm
don't
not
care
looking
about
for people's respect.
If you don't care, well, then you have none. Come on, kid, you need to grow up. Jeez,
You're not the first person to tell me that, John.
I've been telling you that since I met you. You've got some talent and intelligence, but you've got to get I know you had a hard life, and it's tough.
No, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there about my life because you know what? Once you go at my life, it's all off the table.
You
John.
had a tough life.
That is why we are in the middle of this argument with me, Brian, and Tony. They put my father into this.
I didn't put
over
your
a
father.
Sorry,
I have
over a phone
no
call.
idea what your life was. I just remember when we first met you. I don't think didn't you drop out of high school? You didn't drop out of high school. You went to Job Corps.
Yeah, and
which
I
is
graduated
a
from Job Corps.
Which is you finally did.
I graduated from Job Corps.
Oh, you
years
did
ago.
graduate. Yeah. Well, I met you years ago.
That's true.
And which is a good program. I was there when the Secretary of Labor came. When Ted Gatzis was mayor.
But I think what Christian was trying to say.
Well, I'm giving you the benefit of the point because if you come up the hard way.
Hold on, because I'm in the back of my head thinking about this.
If you come
I
the
do
hard
have
way.
to apologize for one thing. I shouldn't have went the way with the mental health. That wasn't the right thing. It was a spur of the moment thing, okay? But it's like, this has gone on, okay, and I'm still going to entertain because Tony brought my dad into this. Tony brought my family into this.
I shouldn't do that.
Not once did I bring his family into this until he brought mine.
Well, I don't really understand what's going on, so I apologize for that. But always I meant to say, if somebody came up the hard way, and I don't, your privilege isn't.
And I got him to do what I wanted him to do. I got him. I wanted him to call in. He called in.
I can understand more.
Who's winning?
I can understand more where you're coming from now. It's tough.
Three things you don't attack.
Life isn't a bed of roses.
Okay, there's three things you don't attack. You don't attack my family, you don't attack my work ethic, and you don't attack what I do. They crossed all three of those lines, and that's when I said, that's it, all bets are off the table. I'm going to do what I need to do to defend myself, and you know what? I'm going to have fun doing it. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, well,
I know it's sick.
Don't take
I know
so
it's
much
sick.
fun.
I know it's sick, but I'm having a great time, dude. I'm going to walk out of here with my head held high, with an adrenaline high. That's going to probably put me through the roof.
That's the problem. That's like PTSD. You get the high, you're always seeking to get the high. And to get that rush. In my show, if you listen to Ward 13 with John Hopwood,
no shame plug.
I could care less.
Oh, we encourage that. You gotta hawk
because Dana Beal is on that.
You gotta hawk your wares, which is very
Oh, boy, that's
you know
another
the reference.
one.
I don't know,
Man.
John. I don't know if you remember the reference, John.
You know that one, John, because you've been posting about it left and right.
But what?
Oh, the hawk your wares. I'll remind you after the show what
I don't
that's
remember
about.
right now.
Oh,
Okay, it's better,
We'll
and we
refresh your
won't.
mind after the
But
show.
Dana
Dude. That's
talks,
a whole nother case.
Dana talks about people
that
are
man got me
seeking
banned
to
from my
get
Facebook, dude.
What?
The Hawk Your Wares guy got me banned from my Facebook.
I don't even know who Huck your. Oh, you mean
Yeah,
what's his name?
somebody we don't talk about.
The
Yeah.
guy I went on the show.
The guy. We'll just say the guy.
I'm lost now. I
That's
don't think
okay.
this is
I've been
good
lost
radio.
since the day I was born.
No, I'll tell you after.
You join the club, huh? It's hard. It's like walking through the woods of with all these trees overhead, and it's dark.
That is the weirdest analogy I think I've ever
It's
heard.
one of-
That just went
what are
from,
you talking
that
about? It's
went
one of the
from
most-
left to right, and it was like, wait a minute,
It's
what?
one of the most classic analogies of everything. Maybe you ought to read a bit. Maybe you ought to start
You're not
reading
wrong
some
there.
classical.
You're not wrong.
That's one
man.
of the things about the journey through life. Is
I'm too wrapped up in controversies to do that.
Well, you're too wrapped up in
internet
your
drama.
adrenaline.
Not too right now.
The
Dude. My adrenaline's to the roof, man.
Problem with social media is that it's based on the algorithms of that were developed by the gaming industry.
By the way, I do have to say,
It's
in Christian's
addicting you.
in Christian's defense, he's 20 years old. He's supposed to have adrenaline.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's this is uncouth.
I wish I had adrenaline 24/7. I'd be so much better off.
You'd be completely burned
Well, you'd
out.
be-
Your adrenal glands would be destroyed.
we want to talk about burned out. Dude.
You'd be insane because if you don't, that's what happens if you don't sleep. You
That
lose
too,
your
yeah.
mind. Yeah.
Actually, I think, Matt, when I first met you, you saw, like, I was all over the place because of work. I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. So that's just, that was, wow.
It got you money.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my money, yeah.
Yeah.
That was that was part of
You got some good paychecks.
3,000, 5,000. Yeah, it was great.
Well,
Bi-weekly.
when Jenny and I were talking about you moving in, I said, hey, the kid's got hustle, you know?
I've shown it now. Like, I still
We
do.
used to use that a long time ago.
No, he's got work ethic.
Yeah.
I do multiple different things because that's what I want to do. I got into the nightlife scene as a photographer. I navigated that scene a little bit, and I'm having fun DJing. It gets me out, gets me to know people, gets me new friends, and it's so fun. Like, you saw me, dude. When I'm on stage, it's just me, that music, and I'm going to make that crowd dance. Mm-hmm. That's all my goal is.
Yes. Oh, speaking of which, you've got shows coming up. You should plug those.
I got my headliner at 603 Bar and Grill tomorrow.
Former Panucci's.
Yep.
Yes.
Sunday from 9 to 1 with my boy Andrew. Other than that, I don't know if I have anything else scheduled this week. Potentially Saturday, which would be great because that is the biggest day for like the nightlife scene, and that'd be great. And I'm looking at booking a few parties out in July soon, in June. So yeah, other than that, nothing. It's a weird thing to promote, especially after the whole thing that we just went through.
Right.
Jesus, plug my stuff after I just blew up on a guy.
Did you now? Did you want to address because people are probably confused about the thing
about the feud?
The thing Tony said about the drop a link to the fight. Did you want to address that at all?
Drop a link to the fight. So listen, right now the Canadian borders are closed. I said a few months ago I'm going to have a fight that's going to be promoted by Barstool. Okay, it's an amateur fight. It's nothing big. All right, we're still trying to get everything ironed out. I really shouldn't have been talking about it, but I did. Barstool is a multiple entity social media.
What is the Canadian border being closed of?
Because my supposed guy I'm fighting, my
Canada?
opponent, he is in Canada.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go up to Montreal. I was,
And apparently,
now
and apparently,
go until June.
Apparently, from what you were saying, the guy's a COVID denier.
Yeah.
So
I mean, now I got to recontact him because my old Instagram got deleted. So I got to recontact that guy somehow. I got my whole Instagram deleted too with the Facebook. So that was a little irritating.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So this is I've been gone for like basically 6 months. So this has been a thing that because I've heard Tony calling in many times. Yeah.
It's been a thing that's been in the works, and I'm about to drop
I'm
this
just
opponent.
dropping in. I'm dropping in like in a parachute. So thinking, hey, what the hell's going on here? And also, this has been ongoing.
Yep.
And has it been on the show too? Because I know you've been on the show regularly now.
Yeah. I try to go on every Thursday because that's my day off, and that's the day I get the most work done.
Okay. And so have you feuded on this program?
No, I haven't really. I haven't had a phone call like with the guy other than the Instagram live I did with him, and he just, I'm literally in the gym working out while talking trash to this guy, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I love it. Like I said, I'm toxic.
I'm not toxic. I used to do it with people. I used to do the same thing in politics. I used to do the same thing in politics with people we can't even talk about now.
Yeah.
So cool. It really got me.
I'm done with the local politics stuff, man. After my whole Facebook got deleted, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to log onto my phone in 5 minutes too and have this Facebook page deleted because I know how petty people can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me give the numbers.
Are we on till 6 or 5:45?
6. Yeah, the weekly guy on is a replay tonight.
Okay.
603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007.
Who do they have on?
I don't know. You can
replay.
also
We don't know.
Text me at 617.
They can send a message.
617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can always interact and opine in the Facebook live chat.
Where is everybody today?
What do you mean?
Dude.
You haven't talked about the people in the chat room.
No, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Maybe that's
I'm going
what
to do that.
do.
I'm going to do that now, actually. Let's see.
I'd like to hear what they've said about the last 10 minutes.
Dude, me too. I got to say, shout out to Tony for, giving me the best clip I think I've ever gotten.
Oh, all right.
Thank you, man.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, that's nice. So you're saying thank you
I
to
mean
Tony?
that disrespectfully.
Oh, I took it wrong.
This is like Monty Python, he pays for the argument.
Wow.
That's £5.
Yes.
We're supposed to argue. I gave you £5. No, you didn't.
Right.
Now it dawns on me.
Scott Robinson is a top fan in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Scott. Easy G, also in the Facebook live chat, our entertainment reporter. He'll hopefully be returning with his entertainment report next week. He's been under the weather. He says, always a fun time with John Hopwood. Oh, very nice.
I just wish we could get Glenn R.J. Olette back on the show.
Whoa. No, please no.
What's happened?
Just nothing. No, please don't.
Matt and we could never stifle our laugh.
That's true.
And we couldn't resist baiting him either, but I shouldn't admit that.
Melanie La Liberty.
So who am I to talk to you about that?
Exactly.
I've done the exact same thing.
Thank you.
I just didn't know what's going on.
All right, let Matt talk.
I apologize.
Jenny also in the chat. Hello, Jenny. Rocky Huber, who is a top fan, is in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Rocky. Let's see. Mike Pelopita joins us from another one of our wonderful sponsors here at WMNH, Queen City Cabinetry, in the historic Sunbeam Mall. Hello, Mike, a big supporter of the station and all the shows here. Let's see. Scott. Oh, I mentioned Scott Robinson. Whoops. Trying to scroll down here. Rob Dion is in the Facebook live chat. Rob, of course, host of Through the Stage Door.
One of the Quints.
Here at WMNH. One of what?
One of the Dion quintuplets.
Oh, yes.
We found out about there's a fourth one. No.
Oh, wow. And Rob, of course, also does the entertainment report on the morning show and does the Name That Tune every Thursday morning. Does a great job.
It has to be before 1991.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Rocky Huber is a top fan, says, didn't you have a beef with a certain rapper at one time? Yes, MC Hammer was, I thought he was going to come here and kill me.
That's right.
Yes.
Brian
Mackey is in the chat room all the way from Idaho and host of the No More Excuses podcast. Let's see. Just want to make sure we don't miss anybody in here.
It doesn't seem like a full house today.
Oh, no, it is.
Sorry.
Tom Blanchard is in the chat room. Hello, Tom.
Oops.
Because you're so cantankerous on Thursdays.
A lot of this is from much earlier.
I got so sick of it all.
As soon as I came back in, the views just dumped. Sorry, Matt.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
But hey, on the re-upload, you'll get about 160 something views.
Yes. Well, if you missed the first part of the show, the first half, we were joined by cannabis activist
never
Dana
anything
Beal.
on that.
That's just the logo. This show took a turn, man.
Yeah, I come back and there's all this, stuff.
Man, I was on a phone call about a project that's in like 6 months, and then this happened. Lovely.
I did receive an email from Mike Doyle.
Mike Doyle?
Actually, several. And, of course, you can hear Mike occasionally on the morning show with Peter White.
About Trump?
Yeah, sometimes. But he emailed me this. Now, this we talked about several weeks ago, and, I know he doesn't always get to hear all the segments, but he said, the president of the United States fired people who may have smoked in the past. Think about how shallow-minded that is.
Which president?
President Biden. Remember, a number of weeks ago, they fired a bunch of people who apparently had been a little too honest on their disclosure forms and had acknowledged
What'd they smoke?
using cannabis in the past. And the Biden administration cut them loose, which I thought was pretty bizarre. And, under that standard, President Obama, Biden's former boss, wouldn't be able to serve in the Biden administration.
So you've actually got the evidence? You've seen the files?
What do you mean? I've seen what files?
Maybe they were fired for something else, and that's just the story.
Oh, it was acknowledged. Jen Psaki acknowledged. They're not disputing it. They haven't disputed it that they fired those people.
That doesn't make sense.
It didn't make any sense to me either. I thought it was a pretty bizarre thing to do.
It's 2021. It's like, listen, weed just needs to be legalized.
Yes,
but Jean Shaheen is on
I'm
the
not going
appropriate.
to say anything about Jean
She's
Shaheen.
on why?
Why? Because
You just said it has to be legalized. She's opposing legalization, and she's on the subcommittee that would bring a bill forward to the Senate floor.
Okay.
And she's killing it.
Okay.
So,
If you would let me finish, I'm not going to say anything bad about Jean Shaheen because for multiple reasons that are due to personal financial issues.
you mean
when I was
she's
growing
paying
up.
you?
No.
Oh my goodness!
Why do you got to twist my words like that, dude?
Well, I thought that,
Jesus
you're an
Christ.
influencer.
Nah, you've been giving me issues all for the past half hour, John.
We're
and then
trying
you've
to
been contradicting
we're trying
yourself.
to create controversy.
Oh my God, I've
Or is
already
it-
had a
is
controversy
it
with you. You blocked me for it, man.
Well, yeah, I've
Which
unblocked
you'll probably
you.
do again.
Is it
no.
controversy or controversy?
Jesus, John.
He has very...
The BBC's on the BBC they always say it funny. They say controversy or something. They say,
you once did it. I remember you once did
yeah,
it.
it's hard to do. It's hard to say it that way. But they put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Controversy, Susie.
Controversy.
So-
that's how they do it. Controversy. That's how they say it on
Controversy.
the BBC. Yes.
a lot
Controversy.
of
And today's controversy.
influences are given money by politicians, pharmaceutical companies,
Yes.
and various
Wow,
things.
guys,
So
you just witnessed someone
basically,
change up the narrative
basically,
so much.
he's
Change
made
all the words that came out of my
He's
mouth.
made a Faust pact with Jean Shaheen, which is a deal with the devil.
Yep.
Did you make a Faust pact with
Totally.
Jean Shaheen?
Do you know who Faust was?
Nope.
I think he was a rapper, wasn't he?
Nope. Probably not.
Yes. He
Back
was
in Germany,
M-
1820.
Because I totally listen to German rap. Yeah.
MC Faust.
Why not?
Because I don't.
Do you know any foreign languages?
I took no, I took French. Took French.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, well, I can't remember any of them either.
Man, I did not listen to a dang thing in that class. I was doing my own thing. I was at 12. Was I 12? No, I was 14. That adrenaline high is still here, guys. So it's like,
I need to hear this Jean Shaheen story. All
right, listen. No,
after
she,
the story.
my parents went down to her office. Well, my dad and my stepmom at the time, because the house was in foreclosure, because obviously it was coming right out of the recession that we had in 2008.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and she helped them tremendously with stuff like with resources per se.
Oh, yeah, our staff's great. They help the
Yeah. So
veterans.
what basically what you said was totally wrong, and yeah.
Totally wrong about what? Jean Shaheen is stopping legalization of marijuana.
No, John.
Yes, she is.
John, did you just so conveniently forget that you just said that Jean Shaheen is giving me money to not talk bad
So
about it?
this is one of the things. It's just arguing again.
I'm getting confused.
I gave you $5. No, you didn't.
You gave him $5? Or no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Oh.
I don't. $5. $5
Is that all you
nothing
take
now.
now?
You can get a slice of pizza.
I thought that's
Cesario's.
what.
We don't talk about that, please.
I thought that's what they put in your G-string when you were the male stripper.
Whoa, that's
Hey man,
that's
respect the hustle.
That's a discussion.
Respect the hustle.
That's a discussion
see
for
what-
the other show.
Yeah, and then when COVID comes in, they can't even get near you.
That's all right. Apparently now OnlyFans is hiring DJs. If you know what OnlyFans is?
Yes, I know what OnlyFans is.
OnlyFans is doing an OnlyFans for DJs now.
Are they?
I never
as a
said,
stripper.
huh? No, as a DJ. So
Well, OnlyFans handles porn stars.
they're branching out, John.
No, they handle more than that.
Yeah,
male
you can do.
strippers?
It's more of it's not just strippers.
Do you really think that going up from male stripping to emceeing?
That is whoa. Pause. What
Those-
wavelength are you on? Because Jesus, man.
We're creating some controversy.
Oh,
No, you're
controver-
hurting my brain.
Controversy creates clicks.
Well, hopefully
I'm
then
throwing
you'll...
that on a T-shirt. Thank you, Matt. I will give you credit. I'll give you like 5% of the.
Thank you. Yes.
Actually, I'll do 20.
Wow.
80-20.
You're
Is that math? Yeah, the math's correct.
Well, part of the problem with the strippers, they're always trying to hide the money. You know?
Hey, listen,
Think of the
strippers-
places that they can hide
All
it.
right, listen. Strippers make a lot of money. Okay.
They can.
Exactly.
all right.
Yes.
We
but
should-
do
we
they
should- we need to
declare-
get off this
Do they
subject, though.
declare the money? Because the IRS is snooping
Oh my
around.
God! Here we go.
You don't think that's true?
IRS.
Well, stripping's coming back because of the COVID restrictions.
Hey man. Let's.
It never went away. They just had to wear masks.
On what?
By the way,
There's also a great sport. Apparently.
Stripping?
Yeah, it keeps you active.
Oh, so you know about pole dancing?
All right.
No, I don't know about pole dancing. I've never done it.
Let's move on. Let's move on
well,
from that.
you know, maybe you could hustle yourself to a new life.
Let's move on. Move on.
Enough.
Well, we're getting sensitive areas.
John, have you been following the criminal investigation in New York of Mr. Trump?
No.
Nope.
And if you ask me again, I'll say yes.
Oh, really?
I'm waiting for my $5.
Oh, you want me to give you $5?
It doesn't have to be in the United States funds.
I can write you an IOU.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, S-I, you know what? I left the H out.
Thanks. What? Oh, you're giving me $5?
I'm giving you something better.
Oh. It's very Googleable, Trump criminal investigation. Oh, the Trump bucks, yes. Those of you watching online can see the, yes.
Jeez,
Trump
I keep forgetting this
USA.
I keep forgetting this is family radio.
Right.
Yeah, I cut my eye teeth on Matt Connarton Uncut.
According to BusinessInsider.com, Michael Cohen, whose name came up earlier in the show, says he believes that Trump will flip on all of them, including his children, in New York investigations into his company.
He's a worm.
This is about to get very interesting. Who, Michael Cohen?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got a podcast now, so he's creating
that's right.
clickbait.
Yes, yes. Oh, hello to Michael Alber in the Facebook live chat.
Is he new?
Michael Alber? No. Well, maybe new to you because you've been traveling the world. And by the world, I mean from here to New Mexico
Alber's
and
been
back.
in the chat for years. What are you talking about?
Yes,
dude?
he's a fixture.
Years?
It says here, Donald Trump's former longtime lawyer and fixer said Wednesday that he believed the former president would flip on everyone, including family. Cohen's comments...
Oh, he means Kushner.
Yeah.
He would never on his daughter.
Probably not. Cohen's comments came after a representative for New York's Attorney General Tish James said in a statement... Tish James.
How do you spell Tish?
T-I-S-H.
Not T-I-S-C-H?
No.
Oh,
said in a statement that James's office was investigating the Trump organization in a criminal capacity as opposed to a civil one. James is joining forces with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which is conducting its own inquiry into the Trump organization in the matter. Speaking with MSNBC's Joy Reid, Cohen said he believed that while legal scholars and the public wondered whether investigators might flip people close to Trump, such as his former lawyer Rudy Giuliani and the Trump organization's CFO Alan Weisselberg, who has been cooperating, Trump would himself would ultimately be the one to switch sides. He said, quote, "I think Donald Trump is going to flip on all of them, including his children. I really believe that Donald Trump cares for only himself, and he realizes that his goose is cooked," unquote.
That's a bunch of crap.
So you're skeptical. You don't see that happening?
Skeptical. This is a disgusting, low-life mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Look at who his client was.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
If we were on Matt Connarton Uncut in the night, I would F-bomb him.
Wow.
I would.
Yes.
He's never going to turn against Ivanka, the true love of his life.
Oh. Well, that could be.
That's
even if
weird.
if they're reduced to Ivanka stripping and him being an MC at the strip club in some hellhole in New Jersey.
NPR has a story. What we know so far about the Trump Organization criminal investigation.
Harassment, political harassment. It might be corrupt, but...
Oh, so you're skeptical about...
Come on. It's New York State. Here's an ambitious state attorney general on the make.
Yeah.
Come on. I've seen plenty of that. I've known people that get hit in political inquisitions.
So you don't think there's anything there?
If they stuck a microscope up your hindquarters, they'd find all sorts of things, wouldn't they?
Well, I imagine they'd find my internal organs.
You know, it's going to be a boon for the lawyers.
I mean, I'm guessing.
Boon
I
for
don't
the
know.
lawyers. Well, we're not on Matt Connarton Uncut, so we can't use the earthy language of the streets.
Right.
That our president legitimated. in political intercourse, even here in Manchester.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. By the way, Rob Dion in the chat room says, Kumbaya, LOL, let's all just get along.
Hey, I also messaged Rob, too. I'm going to put that out to you, right out there to you now. I sent you a message. I would like you to go read it. I noticed you hadn't read it, and I wanted to put this, whatever's going on between you and I, to rest, because I had no right to come out and say something about you without using your name, and I want to apologize on that.
Well, also, too, that's very, very big of you, Christian. I'm glad you did that. And
that's the only thing in this that I am sorry for, and the mental health thing. I took the low road there. Well, I will say that.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. That's very positive. I do want to point out, it was not you. And this is very, very important. It was not you. It was not you who mentioned Rob's name. That was a caller who did that.
Well, you can edit it out.
Yeah.
And you should do that.
Yeah. But that was well, Rob is asking you not to mention his name.
I'm sorry, my apologies.
But
I haven't been in a strip club in so long.
But that was a caller who did that earlier, so
this is called diversion from MI.
Rocky Huber says, LOL, Christian LaCoss is still there. I thought Hopwood made him storm off. Haha.
No, I
stood through this one.
We had already scripted this beforehand.
Right. John can't stay mad for long. That's the thing. John will forget about it 5 seconds later.
Yes. That's the thing. I really don't.
John will forget about it 5 seconds later, which is weird because this dude's like a human walking encyclopedia. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, but it's PTSD. You get triggered. And, here I'm telling him stuff and then realize why I'm telling him this because I've done everything he's done.
Yeah, you're contradicting yourself just like I do quite often.
I'm just, that is.
If
you become an artist, you have to realize about the objective correlative. People are always speaking to something that's not there.
Correlative or correlative?
Correlative.
Well, that's a
if
big
you're
word.
going to use the BBC. And artists can realize that because, our collective subconscious will understand the correlative. Because in the old days, you just couldn't come out and say, like, well, I was going to strip clubs and I was a disgusting this or that. Or
but that was just a weird conversation that we got into
I slept with my
somehow.
father, the Anglican bishop. No, you had to write fiction. So, and you had to, you had to be subtle about things. It's like Matt Connarton Unleashed used to be in such good taste.
Right. Well, we do insist on doing a show.
But then the administrations change, and you can
I would
let
like
it all
to
hang
apologize.
out.
I
You should
don't know
do a
what for, but I would
confession.
like to apologize.
Is this an act of contrition?
Huh?
An act of contrition.
Big words. Small brain. Calm down, please.
Confession.
Oh, what am I confessing?
You're not a Catholic?
No, if I went
Neither
into a
am I.
confession booth, I'm pretty sure the thing would explode.
Wow.
Okay?
No, the
We don't
priests
do
have
that.
heard it all.
If I walked into a church, that place would burn, or I would burn, one of the two, and the confession booth would explode.
That'd be an interesting video.
That's...
Male stripper. I think that goes into
Where
the
are
thing.
you getting this male stripper from?
Because I've heard the strip clubs are opening up again, and it's been a while since Old Hop's seen anything.
There ain't wrong there.
Hello to
except for on OnlyFans.
All right.
Except on OnlyFans.
All right.
Oh, you need the scent of a woman.
Hello to Scott Perry in the chat room from Courtesy Call.
I'm not lost.
Scott Perry has received his second and final dose of
I got to get mine tonight.
Of COVID-19.
That reminds me. Thanks
vaccine.
for reminding me.
Yes.
Well, he already announced that you were getting one.
He did?
Yes, he did. He violated your privacy.
Oh.
He violated
That's HIPAA.
That's right.
HIPAA.
That's all right.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up.
You're hip to HIPAA.
John, we should remind people that
Of
your interview with Dana Beal that you did yesterday, it is up. It is up on YouTube. It will be up on the IPM Nation YouTube account as well soon, but it is up on yours.
And it would
People can find
complement this one because he talked about other things and more about the marijuana.
Yes. But thank you for connecting us with him.
Yeah.
So he joined us in the first hour of today's show. And
I'm starting to accept all those inquiries from women that, they only say they only have one friend.
Right.
I think they're strippers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And
why is your mind in the gutter right now?
Because
Jesus.
it's spring.
Right.
It's spring.
Yeah, it is spring. And Christian, do you want to plug your upcoming gigs again?
Yeah, I'm at 603 Bar and Grill Sunday from 9 to 1 a.m. DJing with my boy Andrew. It's going to be a great night. Come through. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really have anything at the moment, I don't think. But also like my page, DJ Reckless, because I post all my upcoming gigs on there now.
Yes,
So,
yes. Very
yeah.
good. Oh, and how do you spell Reckless?
REKLSS.
Yes. All right. We want to make sure people can find it. All right. Wonderful. So we're going to wrap up. Actually, we'll play. I'm going to play 99 Problems. The
Thank you.
radio edit, of course.
I didn't play no radio
by
in the club
Christian?
the other night.
Is this by you, Christian?
No. It's by Jay-Z. This is by a legend.
Yes.
Well, is
legend.
it after 1991?
A legend
yes.
who spits facts.
That's right. That's
Spits
right.
what?
Facts.
Oh, I thought you said tax.
All right. Bye for now, everybody.